I'll call the meeting for the May Resident Council to order. We are missing a few of our council members today. Alice Funderburg and Ken Plunk and Rick Paskowitz are all out of town, but they will be back at our next meeting. But the rest of our council is here, and first order of business would be to approve the minutes of our April 23rd meeting. Do I hear a motion that we approve the April 23rd Resident Council meeting? Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. I have a few announcements. First of all, please silence your cell phone. I'm the worst to remember that. All right. Secondly, I just want to thank the staff members. They're not here, but hopefully they'll get the word for the wonderful party picnic they gave yesterday. I thought it was marvelous, and we do appreciate so much all the activities that are going on here to get us back more in our normal mode of doing business as we did before COVID. But I do want to thank them for that. Just a reminder that the annual 4th of July golf cart parade will be held again this year, except it'll be on July the 5th. Since the 4th falls on Sunday, we'll celebrate the holiday on the Monday. So there again, for those of you that are new, we have about 20 golf carts and decorate them, and patriotic music and refreshments, and it's a fun time. So we'll plan on that. It's generally around 11 o'clock. It'll be on the 5th of July. The couple of other announcements. The maintenance department has a contractor cleaning the balconies and the patios, and I've been asked to ask you to anything that you can move off of your patio or off of your balcony in order to facilitate their cleaning it. You'll be notified when they're going to come clean there, but it just makes it a lot easier for them to clean your patio or your balcony if you don't have a lot on it. So if you can clean that up, it'll help. The other thing is we've got plenty of seats here for you that happen to be watching on television. We want to get back to the day when we don't have to live stream it and everybody can come to the council meeting. So we encourage you to continue to get out of your apartments or your villas, and let's get back to the way the village was before March of 2020. I believe that's all of the announcements for right now. I'll call on Hollis Meeks for our safety minute.
I learned my lesson last time. Good afternoon, folks. I was asked to speak to you guys on our fire drill policies and procedures. So I'm going to briefly go over that with y'all. And then I also have some more exciting news that about 10 or 11 y'all have been waiting on to talk about as soon as I'm done with that. In the event of a fire, first thing you want to do is keep calm. In the independent living section of our facility, that section will alarm where the fire is occurring. If you start to witness the strobes going off or hear the audible alarm, then you should evacuate to your rally point outside the building. From there, we will instruct you and direct you where you need to go. And we saw how well that does work back in December. If the fire is not in your location or in your building, the alarm will not trip and it will not trigger the doors to close. There will be no strobes and there will be no horns. So shelter in place until otherwise directed. While you're traversing the property, if you're going from one area to another and the fire door is closed, as you approach it, you would want to put your hand on the door. If it feels warm to the touch, you need to find another way to exit and leave that area. Do not go through that. If you open the door and smoke starts billowing through, you would leave that door closed and find another evacuation route. And each one of your welcome packets, when you arrived at the property, you should have received a map of your apartment that would tell you the most efficient and quickest way out of your property, and then the secondary route. If you have any questions about those, please come by the office anytime. If the guys aren't able to find those maps for you, I can print new ones and have them issued to you. I just need an ongoing and updated list for that. On the other subject, the people who had ordered the wrist pendants, they are in. And tomorrow from 9:30 till 11:30, everybody that signed up for one is welcome to stop by, hopefully in an organized fashion, but if not, I'll get some order there. Welcome to stop by, and we'll swap out your pendant, and I'll reprogram and have you going with your new wrist pendant. I have 11 of them in, which should cover the orders that were requested. And then if it piques more interest, we'll get some more in and get those changed out for you. Anything else?
Thank you, Hollis. I don't think we can emphasize too much. We all don't think about an emergency until it's too late. So it's always good to be reminded of the procedures when there is an emergency. And we certainly hope they don't happen, but if they do, we'll at least know what to do about it. Next, the Germantown update by Jerry Klein. What's new?
Thank you, John. Well, good afternoon, everyone. And here's an update on what's happening in the city since the last time we got together. Starting in June and running through the month of July, every Friday night, there are going to be movies in the Grove at GPAC. I will post the schedule in the activity room just as soon as it's available. For those of you who like hot wings, Mr. P's is now open in the Exeter Village Shopping Center, where Dollar Tree is located. There will be a new urgent care clinic going through the approval process in Germantown right now, and once that is complete, I'll have the location and pass it on. There's an organization called the Citywide Facilities Solutions, which is a janitorial service. So if you need that service, they're opening now in the McVeigh Station area. All city offices are now open to the public once again during regular business hours. The Germantown Community Library is now open during regular business hours, and library fines are now in place. All city boards and commissions are now meeting in person, even though face masks and social distancing is required. GPAC is going to have a whole array of art camps available this summer. So check their website to see what's available. And also, don't forget that Bluebird Thursday nights will continue to run through the month of June. Words Travel, an annual sidewalk poetry contest, is being started by the Public Arts Commission in town. Any writer living or working in Germantown can submit a poem or a song lyric up to 150 words. No copyrighted material, please. The theme is nature. A selection committee of library professionals, library staff, and community representatives will select 5 finalists and 3 semifinalists. Winners are going to receive a small monetary prize, and their poems, get this, are going to be installed on the sidewalks in the city parks and along the trail system for everyone to see. Submissions are needed by May the 31st, and more information on that is in the activity room also. The village speaker guests this month should make all you folks who have a sweet tooth very happy. Becky Dinstuhl, the owner of Dinstuhl's Candy, is going to be here on the evening of June the 1st to tell us the Dinstuhl story. Now, whether she's going to have samples or not, your guess is as good as mine. I just don't know. Later in the month, Spencer Ray, the developer of Thornwood, is going to be here to tell us about the entire Thornwood project that they're getting ready to start hopefully very shortly, on the corner of Exeter and Neshoba. At long last, cell phone service in Germantown is being upgraded and improved. For all you techies out there, 5G wireless service technology is being rolled out across the country, and one provider is already installing the equipment in Germantown. It'll take a little while, but hopefully there won't be any more dropped calls. And last but by no means least, once again, I think we all need to give a great big round of applause to the kitchen staff, the servers, the administrative staff, and everybody who had a hand in putting together last night's picnic. It was great seeing everyone having a really good time for the first time in a long time. Now, I don't know about y'all, but Julie and I happened to be in the Monarch. And in glancing around, everybody was busy, the servers were busy. And I looked around, and of all people, our executive director is helping bust the tables. He did a good job, too. I want you to know that. Once again, thank you all. And that's it for now, everybody. Thanks, and we'll see you the next time.
Thank you, Jerry. And Jerry, I want to thank you for arranging these speakers. As you remember, he had the mayor here about a month ago and Jeff Calkins a week or so ago. And it's not easy to find speakers like that, but we appreciate all you're doing and with our upcoming two speakers. Next, we'll get into committee reports, and the first one up is Margaret Owens with activities.
Thank you. I feel like I am repeating what everybody else has said, but once again, I think everybody in this room should thank the marketing crew came over, resident council, everybody came last night to help us with that beautiful, beautiful picnic. Anyway, and so Jerry has already said a lot of the things that I'm going to repeat that are on the activities. June the 1st, Tim the Produce Man will be back out, and we will have a guest speaker, Betty Dinstall, on June the 1st, and my daughter was born on June the 1st, so I hope she brings sweeties like my daughter to the thing. On June the 3rd, musical entertainment will be Al Mahan. On the 8th, Maria's going to talk about that. On June the 10th, Joey Brown Wiener's student violin concert. On the 11th, the peanut butter and jelly for St. Mary's Kitchen. And we did this about a year ago before the pandemic, and we made sandwiches, and then they took them down there, and they really, really, really appreciated it. So that will be a fun thing for us to help contribute to others. A monthly support group is starting, and it's called Healing Hearts. And it's with Christian Johnson. And on June the 14th, Family Feud is back, and this time we will have C versus F. I believe C was the winner last time, so now they're challenging F. June the 15th, guest speaker, Spencer Ray, update on Thornwood. The 17th, bus trip to Shiloh National Park. And lunch will be Thursday the 17th. On Friday the 18th, the men's pancake breakfast and a monthly IT help session begins, and then an opera concert featuring the resident services and guest singers that evening. And y'all have been to those before, where our wonderful, talented residents and our Mark and Kaylee and them sing. June the 21st, celebrating the first summer day of summer with Kona ice cream cones. Kona, C-O-K-O-N-A, ice cream cones? Well, this just says Kona. Anyway, it's ice cream cone. Okay, the 22nd is going to be a bonfire thrown by the marketing department. The 25th is a mystery trip, and then musical entertainment that night is by the Side Street Steppers. And then the 29th is the guest speaker, Dr. Jeff Brown, on pain management. And the 30th and last is the bus trip to the Redbirds baseball game. And that's it.
Thank you, Margaret. I'm just amazed the activities that are going on. It makes me tired sometimes to think so, but it's great that we've got that much going on, and we thank all the activities group for what they're doing. Next is Building and Grounds, and Jack Hinton.
Good afternoon. The Building and Grounds Committee has met, and we have these things to share with you. First, as far as the buildings are concerned, the Monarch, the baseboard has been installed, and new carpet is going to be installed, but it's in the process of selection. And the first that was offered was not accepted, so we're looking for another carpet selection. The fitness automatic doors, they've been wired and they're ready to be completed, but there's always parts that seem to be missing, and so we have to have when those arrive, then installation will take place. The locker room in the pool area, the selection has been made as to how they're going to be renovated, but you know, there's a lot of people are having trouble with getting workers, and everybody seems to be in shortage. And so right now we've put out bids for the work to be done, and as soon as those bids come in, then that work will begin. It's already been reported about the balconies and patios being professionally cleaned, and you will be notified at least the day before when your balcony or when your patio is to be cleaned. As far as the grounds are concerned, the planning has taken place for the flowers, and those are beautiful, and they're going to enhance our campus. Irrigation system has been pressurized and it is actively working. The garden is in bloom, and all of the beds have been taken, and the persons that have taken those are working at those, and we encourage you to go out to the garden and see the progress that's being made. Also, we would continue to encourage you to use the grill and to use the picnic area, and the kitchen will provide you whatever you need. You can take a meal plan and receive hamburgers or steaks or chicken that can be grilled. We got room out there for 8 to 10 people, and some are already using that, and the weather is such that we think that this would be something that you would enjoy. So we hope you'll take advantage of that. A new landscape architect has been employed and will begin work next week, and that's to help us in landscape planning and drainage problems, and something that we've needed to help us in the overall look of our campus. And so that person will begin working this next week. We're also looking for a full-time groundskeeper, someone that can be here every day in the week and to help the grounds picked up and things looking as beautiful as we possibly can. So we're looking forward to that. We also, the parking lot is going to receive a lot of attention. But again, We have to do things in order. As you remember, we had a problem with the wall on the north parking lot that was beginning to fall forward. We thought that it was thought that that was a village problem, a water problem. So they dug as deep as they could to find out it wasn't a village problem, wasn't a water problem, it was a construction problem. And so the construction company will be back and they will redo what they should have done to start with. And as soon as that's done, then we'll start working on the rest of the parking lot. We have the reserve signs already here and to be put in place. And then when we finish with the parking lot on the north, then we're going to fill all the holes in the parking lot in the asphalt. And then when that's done, then we will put the reserve signs up. They'll be relined, and everyone parking space will be with your name on it or something to recognize who it belongs to, and that's going to help us overall in the whole parking area. So we hope you'll be patient because it's got to be done in order. We hope by the end of the summer that all of that will be taken care of. If not, it'll be done as soon as possible. We appreciate the fact that everybody is understand what's happening, but we want you to know that the staff is working as hard as they can to make sure that all of this is taken care of. Again, not only do we want to thank the persons who, as far as what takes place here in terms of dining and so forth, but we have a wonderful staff of maintenance and security and cleaning staff, and we're just pleased with that. We should give them a round of applause as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. A lot going on. Alice Funderburk, as I said, is not here. She is the liaison for dining, but we have someone who's going to make an up-to-date report on dining. And Maria, would you come forward?
I tried to go to the beach with her. She wouldn't let me. But I'm going to try to talk as quiet as slow as I can because I have a lot to say today. Good things. So I'll start with parties because that seems to be the hot topic today. We've had a lot of success so far with our Cinco de Mayo party and then our cookout yesterday. So I think that we are finally ready to bring the birthday party back. So June 8th will be our first birthday party. We will have it on the first Tuesday of the month like we have always done in the past. The setup will be a little bit different than it has been, where people are not going to be going through the buffet lines. We're going to try to keep with that same seated, plated service that we've been doing for all the other parties. It seems to be working well. We will be in here, and we'll also have the Monarch available as well. So if you're coming just to do a quick happy birthday, eat and go, you may want to eat in the Monarch. And if you're coming to spend a little more time and listen to the music and socialize a little bit more, eat in here. We're going to try to do as much seating as we can in here, but we'll have the space available in both areas because I know some people just want to sit and talk and eat, and that's fine as well. So you can sit in both areas. Beginning in June, we are going to stop the deliveries for free. We're going to take the tables down, and we're going to go back to the way we were, where you'd come down and order from the bistro if you were going to take something to go. It's still available. We're not making anybody come down and eat in the dining rooms if you do not feel comfortable with that, but we do want people to kind of come back out and go through the line and order their sandwiches and things to go from the bistro. And what this will allow us to do is that 30 minutes we've been spending at the beginning of the service trying to deliver all the meals, we'll be able to open up the cafe a little earlier. So instead of opening at 11:30, we'll be able to open at 11 in the morning, and we'll have the bar set up at 5 o'clock for them to do the hot bar as well, and people won't have to wait on that. So I think that that'll help out a lot. We are going to bring back happy hour. So the bar will be open at 4. So we'll do drinks and appetizers from 4 to 5. We're still going to do a little overflow seating in the bistro for a short time, just while we're training staff. We have quite a bit of new staff who doesn't quite have the bar down yet, and I just want to make sure that everybody is prepared, because just because we can't open doesn't mean we're going to do it right, and I would rather us do it right and be prepared before we get it all set. So bear with us just a couple more weeks and we'll have everything back to normal. We are bringing back the Sunday buffet on the 6th, so I know that'll make a lot of people happy. Yes. With the delivery being gone there, it'll open at 11:30 like it did in the past, and will be open until 2. Specials will be back next Tuesday. So it's all good news, right? Trying to make sure I cover everything here. We are bringing back the full bistro sandwich menu starting on Tuesday as well. Monday is Memorial Day. We are doing the shortened menu like we typically do for holidays. It'll be brunch hours. Since we're still doing delivery, the dining room itself will not be open until 12, but it'll be open until about 2:30. Come anytime you want in between then. If you want to do delivery that day, you're still welcome to do delivery, just because we're not starting until the 1st. We have new uniforms for the staff that started this week. So you'll see all the servers will be wearing a gray button-up shirt, black pants. I had some Village monogrammed aprons. They haven't come in yet. So right now they're just in a black apron, but it'll have the Village monogram on it once those come in as well. So I think everybody looks real sharp. The management staff we've got in black on black, so you'll be able to identify them as well if you need them in the dining room. We have a new sous chef who started 2 weeks ago. His name is Reginald Cobb. Chefs are funny because everybody thinks that they're the best cook in the world. And when you interview them, everybody says, "Oh yes, I'm the best, I'm the best." So we started doing cooking like a cooking demo when they come in for their interviews. And I've gone through a couple with some prospects who were coming in, and they were okay, and they did pretty good. And Reginald came in, and I said, "We had a great interview. Would you mind if we did a cooking interview tomorrow? We can open up our kitchen and just make anything you feel comfortable making." And the last few have come in and made a steak or chicken or something like that. He came in and made 5 courses and dessert. So we thought he was a winner. But he is great. You'll see him around. He's been in and out of the cafe. He has been a sous chef at the Peabody for the last 10 years and got laid off because of COVID. And he is just, hospitality is his passion. And he is here to learn and become the best that he can be. And he just is very excited to be here. So if you see him, he'll be around the cafe, and we're trying to do some rounds in the Monarch just so we can introduce him to the residents. That is all I have. Thank you.
Maria? Question? How soon can outsiders, visitors come and eat in the dining?
I was going to address this. I knew it was going to be a topic. I know everybody is getting very excited and wanting people to come very soon, and we are working really hard to get back to that. We are still under the regulations with the 6 feet between the tables. And while you can have full capacity in the dining rooms, you still have to have the spacing. So until we can fit all of the tables in there, we want to make sure that we've got room for all the residents and we have places for everybody to eat. So as soon as we can accommodate everybody and the guests, we will allow it back in.
Thank you. As I was sitting there thinking, some of us are having trouble getting back to the old way before. But one thing I noticed, we didn't have any trouble getting a crowd for free meals last night. We had a full house, and it was I think it was full by 4:30, and they didn't even start till 4:30. So free food does bring them out. Thank you, Maria, for all your staff is doing. Ken Plunk is out today, but we've got the chairman of the Welcoming Committee, Carolyn Tyler, who is going to introduce our new residents. Carolyn?
We have 3 new people, new residents since we had our last meeting in April. First is Mary Evelyn Goodwin. Mary Evelyn is a native Memphian, a retired school teacher, and she's been in apartment C 124, right? And next, they're all shy. Dr. Myron and Gail Lewis, yeah. Dr. Lewis is a retired gastroenterologist, and Gail is a retired nurse. And they are in F273. I went to visit them. I don't know why I can't remember all that. But anyway, we are really glad to have them here, and we want you all to remember they're new. You call them and ask them to eat with you, because that's the way it works. And you don't get to know everybody at one time, but if you have dinner with somebody, you get to know them pretty well. So please don't forget to call these. Their numbers are on the well, I think it's on the book, but anyway, if it's not, it will be real soon. So please do your thing, our thing. Include them with you to have meals real soon.
Thank you, Carolyn, and welcome. We hope you will enjoy being at the village as much as we have. I think that we don't have a wellness report today, so I think that's everything we had. Let me look to be sure, except for the number one, and that's our CEO, Mike Kraft, to give us his update. Welcome back from a vacation.
Thank you.
A well-deserved vacation, I can say.
It's good to go and it's good to get back. And the best part of it, yesterday, Ken McCulley was trying to get me to decide something on a stain color for some wood. And I said, Ken, I haven't made a decision in 8 days. And it's really hard to get back into that. So he gave me a little grace, but it was wonderful and good to see you back. And Margaret, I know you didn't mean to, but you really wrecked my life a little while ago when you gave that long list of activities coming up. Can you believe that sometimes people come to see me and I've gotten complaints about having too many things to do? And with that kind of a list, I bet there's going to be a line at my door saying we've got too many things to do. But I know you didn't mean to, and that's okay. There's getting to be less and less to talk about with the COVID pandemic, which is wonderful. I'll be glad when there's nothing left to say at all, but everything is really looking up everywhere, including locally. In Shelby County, the 7-day average of new cases is now only 85. And keep in mind, in early January, it was 777 average per day for a while there. So that's remarkable. And over the last 7 days, we've had 20 deaths, which is pretty high, but also back in January, February, we were averaging 15 to 17 per day. So everything is really better. This week, the 14-day average positivity rate for Shelby County dropped below 5%, back down to 4.8. And for about the last month, it had been at 5.3%. So of the tests being given, fewer are coming back positive. So it's all really good. Here at the Village, we're still testing employees and significant contractors. We have been testing weekly, but we are probably going to go to monthly pretty soon, unless the COVID experience ticks up again in the county, in which case we can go back to weekly. But we have not had any new positive test results either last week or this week in our testing. And over the last, 4 or 5 weeks, I think we've just had one. So the experience there is really getting good and much, much better. I guess my advice to everyone is let's not get a false sense of security. Just know that it's still out there. I think everyone in this room is vaccinated, and I tell you, it's working. And everybody's saying if you are fully vaccinated, you don't really have to worry too much because you're just not likely to get sick. And I think that is backed up by what we're seeing here at the Village. Yesterday, the picnic was obviously moved inside, and Tuesday I was driving home from North Carolina, and Mark Brown and I were on the phone, and he was telling me he had made the call to move it inside, and I said, my forecast that I've been looking at shows it's very unlikely we're going to get rain tomorrow. But unfortunately, on something like that, we have to make the decision about a day ahead of time because we have to get exterior equipment brought in to borrow or rent if we do it. And I said, well, whatever you think best. So he let it stand, and sure enough, he was right. He made exactly the right call, and if he had listened to me, we would have been in soggy ground yesterday. So that worked out real well. One thing I wanted to mention, you've probably all gotten a flyer in your mailbox by now that there is a stomach bug that's being reported very frequently in local hospitals and doctors' offices, and it's just a form of gastroenteritis. It's a virus, and it is spread primarily through contact. You touch an infected surface or touch someone, and that's primarily how it's spread, and we have actually seen a few residents here at the Village that appeared to have whatever it is that's going around. Symptoms are the usual: stomach pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, maybe fever or body aches. If you have anything like that, get checked out at the clinic or at your doctor. And in the meantime, all you've got to do to protect yourself on that is just wash your hands often and use the hand sanitizer stations that we have all around the Village. You may have noticed in the lobby there's some construction going on behind the piano in that little side room. We are making that room just like the one on the other side of the lobby with a glass wall and a door that will close. Those rooms are really handy if mostly the residents want to, meet with a financial advisor or a lawyer or whatever it is. Those rooms are used a lot for that. And they're also an excellent room for marketing to wrap up a tour with. So that'll give us another option for private meetings, or if you just want to visit privately with somebody in there. So that shouldn't take long to get wrapped up. One thing I wanted to mention, Dr. Hinton talked about the landscape architect, and there's one other thing that architect is going to make recommendations on, and that is things of a hardscape nature that we can put outside around the Village. Options might be a putting green, more seating areas. No applause yet? I did. And more seating areas, or maybe an arbor, or a fire pit, or an outdoor kitchen, or a bocce ball, or shuffleboard court, or things like that. Croquet, absolutely. And this landscape architect is going to come to us with recommendations where we could put such things and what we might want to do. So that should be good too. Jerry mentioned the new wireless phone signal around town, which will be really good. We're also going to be getting some improved internet service here at the Village. We have, that's the best applause so far in this meeting, so that's good. We have still been receiving internet service over what I would call the old copper AT&T lines that have always been in place here. And around the end of June or early July, we're going to be on a system that has a fiber optic cable coming in. It'll be a new company. It won't be AT&T, but that should be a lot faster. It should be more reliable, and it's going to be coming in here. There will still be some challenges on getting the signal all the way out in the villas because we don't have underground cabling. I'm sorry, Dr. Ty. We don't have underground cabling going there, and it would be, I don't know, probably a couple of $100,000 to drill and put it there. But there are other ways that we can get improvements, and we'll be doing that too. So I think that will be a big improvement when that comes around. This is not yet the week for Associate of Month. We'll be picking them next week. But I did want to mention something. We get a lot of recommendations from all of you, which is wonderful. That's how we want most of those recommendations to come in. But so many of the recommendations are that Mike or whoever is just so nice and they do their job well and it's always pleasant to be around them. And that's what we want of everyone here. So if you, and that's great that they are, but when you make a recommendation, if you have an example of something where they went above and beyond what anyone would be expected to do, that is really helpful in getting that person selected. Because each month we may have 4 or 5 recommendations, like I just described, how much they like someone or they're pleasant and friendly and do a good job. But it takes something really to set them up above everyone else. So just bear that in mind as you make your nomination and know that that would be really helpful to have that. I want to mention the birthdays since we have not yet started our parties yet. Last week, when I wasn't here, Paul Funk had a birthday, Laverne Coletta, Jean Fessenden, and Vivian Seeley all had birthdays. This week, Monday, was Bill Thomas. Today is Roger Buckmaster. He's 90. There he is, okay. Happy birthday, Mr. Buckmaster. Normally he's sitting right here, so I assumed he was out celebrating somewhere. And Saturday, Jill Buckmaster has a birthday. Since she's a lady, I'm not going to tell you how old hers is, but he told me it's about the same as his. So you can figure that out then. Also Saturday, Shirley Vosberg, and then Sunday, Marsha Levy and Bill Sossaman. So happy birthday to all of these folks, and we're glad you're celebrating it at the Village. So any questions from anyone? Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a timetable for when we can come and go at the gate without a sticker?
At the Germantown, at both gates, really.
Okay, I mean, we can get in
Yeah.
without having.
Ellie Appling asked if there was a date yet when we could get in both gates without a guard having to let us through and just click your button and come in. We don't have a date for that yet. The reason being is that since our skilled nursing and assisted living areas are all in the same community as independent living, we have to follow the strictest rules, which happens to be for skilled nursing. And those rules require such strict entrance protocol that we pretty much have to have a guard there to allow it. And to tell you how serious it is, if we violate that and an inspector were to come through, it's an automatic $10,000 fine. If we, okay. Ellie is convinced, and she thinks the guard shack is a great idea. But so we're going to have to wait for that to relax a little bit. When Germantown, the city of Germantown gave us the permit for that gate, or the guard structure, they gave it through the end of May, and they are extending it. I asked them to extend it through September 30, and they're going to do that, and hopefully we won't need it that long, but we just don't know. And really the same thing on the Germantown Road gate. We'll be able to open it up at the same time. Ms. Landrum?
Why do we need 2 people out there all the time?
We don't. The question is, why do we need 2 people at that guard structure all the time? For a while, the way the entry requirements were, we had some pretty bad backups in traffic, and people, it was a bottleneck, and we had to have 2 guards, sort of one behind the other, to get the traffic moved through. We don't need them now, and we're addressing that and cutting it back to 1. We still have to have some backup, you know, for whatever, if one of them has to leave or something, but that's going to be reduced very soon. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Mr. Vosberg.
We have quite a few Indian hawthorn gardens that suffer with the cold freeze.
Yes.
They are sprouting again from the bottom. Either cut them back and let them grow up, or we can remove them and plant
And it's
something needs to happen.
Yes. Mr. Vosberg's comment was that we have a number of Indian hawthorn plants around the community that were damaged by the hard freeze in February. And they look dead, but they're starting to come back in some areas, and what are we going to do with them? And the answer is a combination of that. Some of them are about to be replaced. And Dr. Hinton, yesterday, did they tell us it was next week or 2 that the landscaping group was going to be out there replacing those shrubs? I think it was. Okay, so within a couple of weeks, a lot of them should be replaced. There's so many of them that if they do look like they will come back, we're going to allow them to give it an honest try. But if they're obviously that bad that they're not likely to, or it's going to take years to do it, we're going to replace them. Yeah, and we're going to try to, if the best ones we'll try to salvage, the worst ones we're not going to wait 2 or 3 years for them to have any green. So, any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. We're glad to have you back. Okay, I think the only thing left, is there any old business? Any new business? Okay, we do have one other item, and that is the door prize. So I'll take care of it. Let's draw for the door prize. Does everybody have a ticket for the draw prize? Got one back there. Well, I've got one over here. While she's doing that, I will say there are 5 bowls of flowers up here, and anyone without a rush after the meeting may come pick it up if you'd like to take it back to your apartment or villa. There's 2 over here and 3 over here if you'd like to get it. Okay, mixing them up. All right. The last 3 digits, 910.